fireworks. No first downs in the game yet. One team with 6 yards of offense and the other with -14. Here's the second possession coming up now for John Beck and the BYU Cougars, who have won 9 straight games. 98% of the time. Beck will line up back there in the shotgun. Curtis Brown now checking with the offensive line. He's a running back to Beck's left. Wide line splits, wide open passing attack on the slant, juggled and still no completion. He's 0 for 3. First pass of the night was dropped. That was Zach Colley, the senior from California.
And Brent, that's what you're going to see. Tight man-to-man coverage. Walter Thurman, the redshirt freshman corner number 6, right up in the grill of Zach Colley. Nick Aliotta is going to play a lot of bump and run man on these wide receivers.
And he's not the only one that's a redshirt freshman. The other side of the field is a redshirt freshman as well.
Michael Reed, Matt Allen. Remember, Johnny Harley, number 13, is his preferred target. Up under center and nothing doing from the running game. It'll be 3rd and long coming up for the Cougars. Patrick Chung. What if they're rover man in that secondary? Aliotti basically opens with a nickel, so they don't have to have a 5th defensive back when you have Patrick Chung out there on the field.
Look at Patrick Chung, last year the Pac-10 Freshman of the Year, a leader in that secondary for Oregon.
And he really gives Aliotta a lot of strength in the running game. The support that he has as a free safety coming up in playing there is really phenomenal.
See what they come up with now on 3rd and 10. Needs to get the ball downfield, hit on the release, and it'll be 3 and out. Just like we predicted. Defenses will dominate here tonight.
A little bit of rusty there, but you're going to see that there's 4 covered in the secondary. This is a coverage that is really done well by Oregon's defense. Great job by BYU's offensive line of picking everybody up.
And also, though, good pressure at the end right there by Darius Sanders, 95. Comes in with 9 sacks on the season. And how about this punt formation Brent talked about earlier for BYU? There are some caverns in there that entice you to rush that punter now.
Well, I'll tell you, Utah was closing in that showdown. What a game that was. Won in the final 3 seconds by BYU. Here's Chung back again. Remember, he found a seam last time. Better coverage. And he is down at the 37-yard line. So it'll be the second possession for Brady Leaf. In case you are wondering about Brady Leaf from Great Falls, Montana. Yes, indeed. He is Ryan Leaf's brother. Ryan is here tonight.
Got me chasing away last time. He won't chase.
Scenes in the world. The Las Vegas Strip as we pull back. The Bellagio over there on the left. A lot of folks I know are enjoying themselves over there, keeping an eye on our game here. No score. BYU and Oregon. Oregon 1st and 10. And the Cougar defense swarming with. And there is Ryan Leaf, a young man who right now is an unpaid assistant coach at West Texas A&M, who took the Cougars to a Rose Bowl game where they lost to Michigan. The Wolverines won the national championship that day. We'll talk to Ryan a little bit later.
Looks like he has the West Texas coaching gear on with that big cowboy hat.
I don't know about that Marley shirt he's got on, though. I don't know what shop he got that out of.
2nd down and 13 for his brother. Brady fakes the inside handoff. Now he flares one. And Kent is out of bounds on the far side at the 39-yard line. Brian Keel, 41, is the linebacker over there. But he'll still leave the Ducks in 3rd and 9. What do you see with the Cougar defense here, Bob?
I'll tell you, the first thing I saw is the way they took away that tailback, Jonathan Stewart, 28 on that first run. Jonathan Stewart, the tailback, even though this is 3rd and 9, he probably won't get the ball here. He's the key to the game for me. And BYU's done a great job of just taking him out so far.
Jason Williams is the go-to receiver on the left, on the short side of the field for young Leaf. He's looking in that direction. He's bracketed. So Leaf has to take off. Can he get the first down? No, he cannot, but he's close. And the ball went loose at the end. See if they marked it down. They did. You can see the official on the far side indicating that it is 4th down right there. See that fist in the sky that closed. He'd marked it down, whistled it, and that'll be the spot. David Nixon again, very active defensively, and here we are, just like you predicted, Bob, a game that'll be dominated by the punters.
You're going to get a chance to see Brady trying to get the first down. The ball came out. That was very close. I didn't get a chance to see the left knee right there, Craig. Maybe it was down.
Knowles punted again. You're from behind him now. Ooh. Late there was pressure. Fair catch signaled at the 16-yard line, and John Beck and the Cougars, who went up and down the field on Utah, especially in the first and fourth quarters. We'll see if they can finally get something going against the Oregon Ducks of the Pac-10. We're scoreless in Las Vegas. You're going to bring John Saunders and the Flutie man out to the Rose Bowl,
and Flutie will be hoping for a Hail Mary to end the game.
That'd be great. That should be some great scene out there, Coach Davey. Here we've got scoreless game between BYU and Oregon. This the third series for senior quarterback John Beck from Mesa, Arizona, operating again from the shotgun with the inside handoff now. There's the best offensive play of the game. Manuse Tana.
Down the hill, I think the fullback here in this game and this offense with Curtis Brown on the other side of Tana really gives them an added element and a real power downhill offense.
And then they put the ball right in the hands of Michael Reed, and suddenly we got a little flash of offense showing up here.
And you see BYU with a little no-huddle hurry up that time, caught Oregon not being able to get lined up and adjust to that formation. Just quick snapped them right there and took advantage of it.
And you need it. This whole game needs it. The fans need it. The tempo.
Cougars on their own 40-yard line. Faking Brown, back downfield, high, incomplete. Intended target, Matt Allen, the junior from Peoria, Arizona.
You look at this statistic right here, 138 points, opponents only 15. Again, BYU hasn't played in a while, as Oregon has not. I think it helps the defense a little bit when you haven't played for several weeks. I really do.
We've seen several drop balls. I think that the receivers maybe are thinking a little bit, feeling their way. I expect BYU to come down the hill more. They need to run the football. I think they have a chance to run the ball.
How about those line splits right there by that BYU offensive line out of the Texas Tech playbook?
Beck again, this time dropped. There have been 2 drop balls tonight. Matt Allen giving that one up, and that ball should have been completed for a big gain to the 35-yard line.
Matt Allen just on the little post route right there, Brandon. You're right. He is wide open. Good physical tackle right there by Bird, the redshirt freshman. That ball should have been caught, obviously.
If you're wondering about John Beck and thinking, is he an NFL prospect? Bronco Mendenhall, his head coach, said that NFL scouts have said to him that he probably will be drafted on the first day. What is that, about 3 rounds, folks? Some of you draft gurus probably know more about the first day than I do, but I think they go about 3 rounds deep into it. Here he is now. You can watch him throwing far side. Now that is a strong arm. That was off target that time, and Johnny Harline, the intended target, and he has been missing in action so far. There is a number 13 that has 11 touchdown passes, caught the game winner against Utah.
Again, Oregon tight man-to-man coverage. Chung on Harline.
But it all comes back to inconsistency for BYU as well. I mean, the drop balls are stopping these offenses from getting any momentum.
Yeah, Beck, 1 of 8 for 13 yards, and he should easily, Craig, be 3 of 8.
Absolutely.
I mean, I know 2 were right on the money. McLaughlin punting again, and here is Chung. This time he's inside the 10-yard line. Right up the middle. And dropped on the 21-yard line that time. That was David Oswald, number 68, making a nice stop for the Cougars. So we are still scoreless. How about this for a low-scoring first half? Coach Davey, what did Coach Bellotti tell you about the quarterback situation here with Brady Leaf starting his 3rd series?
He said Brady Leaf would get the first 3 series, then they would go with Dennis Dixon the 4th series. So if our calculations are right, this is the 3rd series. So Brady Leaf better make something happen right here, Brent.
Not much doing on that first down on the handoff. They've been unable to get the running game going. Now they have switched to Jeremiah Johnson. And here is Dennis Dixon. He was the starter until the last game of the season against Oregon State. Brady Leaf started that game. Put the Ducks ahead late when he ran in for a 2-point conversion. And then Oregon State came down, and Cerna, their wonderful field goal kicker, nailed the game winner. Ducks went back down the field, and they misfired on what would have given them the game. And now reaching for a first down. It's going to be very close. This will depend on the spot. Garen Strong, the junior from California, reaching for it.
You know, one of the things that Oregon has not done to this point, in my opinion, is to take what the defense is giving them. Here's a blitz up the top of the field. Strong comes in, and they execute the play, taking what the defense gave them there.
Exactly, and there's no question on the perimeter. Oregon should dominate the matchup with their wide receivers against these BYU corners.
Johnson bounces. Easy first down and crosses midfield to the 45-yard line. If the Ducks can get the speed of Jeremiah Johnson and Jonathan Stewart out on the perimeter, they could have something going against the Cougar defense. That's a 25-yard burst. Watch him bounce. Here he is.
Look at the bunched up defense and the lack of gap responsibility. Johnson's got great feet and vision.
And that happens so many times in short yardage. And Cameron Colvin, the wide receiver, got a block out there on the corner as well.
And because of injuries, the Cougars are using a backup safety over at right corner. The Ducks come back with Johnson on the toss. Spins away from the first tackler close to the 40-yard line, but we can talk about Cole Mayahira. He's from right here in Las Vegas, number 39. He's a backup safety, and he is starting on the corner. And you better believe by now the Oregon defensive assistants offensive assistants upstairs have noticed who's out on the field, and they have been trying to attack that secondary.
And Brent, BYU lost 2 corners against Utah. Both played the same position.
Here's your second down. Running the option. Leaf, who is not as elusive as Dixon, cuts back across the grain, and this will be 3rd and fairly short as Jorgensen, the fine defensive lineman for the Cougars, makes the stop.
And that's one thing I always question with these spread offensive football teams, particularly with a quarterback like Brady Leaf. Can you just dabble in the option? Every once in a while run an option. I think that's one of the reasons Oregon turns the football over so much.
Dixon can do that, but not Leaf. He's deceptively good with his feet, but he's not an option quarterback.
Here he is in 3rd down. Stewart flares. Downfield dropped. Looking for the first down. Strong can't hold on.
Again, another drop. BYU just playing zone coverage. Garen Strong comes down, finds that little window right there as the linebacker, number 46, Papingo, ran out of there. Another drop.
Okay, I got one for you now. You're the head coach. You've been on that sideline before. Now you've said before the game, I'm going to go with Dixon in the 4th series. Can you blame the lack of success with Brady Leaf at this point?
No, but I would go, particularly if I told Dennis Dixon he's going in the 4th series.
You think you told him that?
I don't know.
Boy, you hate to go back on your word there.
Nickel lets this one bounce, and the Ducks will down it inside the 5-yard line. Tough spot for the Cougars, and John Beck, as the Bull road trip stops in Las Vegas tonight and then it continues. And who would have figured, Craig James, that we would have this matchup in a bowl game? An amazing story. The Rice Owls are playing the Troy Trojans in New Orleans in the R+L Carriers New Orleans Bowl Friday at 7:30 Eastern Time.
That's an unbelievable story.
Todd Graham has done an awesome job. From Allen High School, went there, this young man, and he brought Major Applewhite in as the offensive coordinator. the old Texas quarterback.
Now Beck from the end zone stands tall, and there is Harline. Johnny Harline's first catch of the evening.
And this is the old traditional BYU offense you always used to have when Lavelle Edwards was the head coach, a great tight end. And Johnny Harline is that great tight end. Their leading wide receiver as we look at Lavelle.
And you know what? That kind of throw on time, rhythm, pace, and tempo. Drop that foot on the ground and let go of the football.
Lavelle Edwards, a legendary coach from BYU. And Nate Mickle coming around on the end around, not doing much. And let's check in with Reese.
All right, Brent, our Sports Center 30 at 30 update. Carmelo Anthony will not appeal his 15-game suspension, which resulted from that brawl against the Knicks in Madison Square Garden last week. Melo saying he does not want to be a further distraction to his team. Celtics are going to be without Paul Pierce for 2 to 3 weeks. Had a stress reaction in his left foot, averaging over 26 points per game. Sports Center after the game, ESPN News always.
Reese, thank you. Here we are, scoreless. BYU and Oregon first quarter, the Pioneer Pure Vision Las Vegas Bowl. 2:39 to go in the opening quarter. Another dropped ball. What is going on here? What's in the water out here in Nevada? What's the problem here, Craig? Come on.
Focus, man. You know what? You got to take it upon yourself to finish the play. The inside crossing, they misdirect up top with the receivers, and Allen's got to come up with a catch.
But isn't this, we talked about your traditional BYU offense. We had a shot at Lavelle Edwards. BYU, when they were at their best, not great wide receivers. Now, guys that are great possession guys can catch the ball, but always had a tight end and a running back that were their leading receiver.
I bet Matt Allen hasn't dropped 2 balls in the last 4 years of his life.
3rd down and 9. Far side. Interference and catch anyway by Harline. Johnny Harline under enormous pressure. I have no idea, Coach, why they call him a tight end. Every time I look at him, he's flexed well off that line.
You're right, Brent. Very seldom, if ever, does he line up as a true tight end.
Pass interference. Number 32 on the defense. That penalty is declined. The result of the play, first down.
And I'll tell you, the toughest play to defend as a corner, we look at Jarris Byrd, an excellent corner, is that underthrown fade right there, particularly to a bigger receiver.
6'4", 238 receiver who adjusts well to the ball in the air, and that's what makes him so special. Not just a tight end, he can play in space.
Beck has completed 3 of 11 for 48 yards. Here's his 12th pass of the night. Diving reception. There's the best catch. The ball was underthrown, and Zach Colley dug it out.
So now BYU's offense has figured out that crossing patterns are confusing Oregon.
Well, not so much confusion, Craig, but when you play man-to-man coverage and they run those little crossers, defensive players pick themselves. And that time, Zach Colley was wide open. If that ball would have been thrown a little better, there was a lot of run after the catch yardage.
Back with the running play. Brown picks his way to the 46-yard line. This will be 3rd and short. Our passing efficiency leaders this season. How about the amazing Colt Brennan over in Hawaii? He is the only quarterback ahead of John Beck.
I'll tell you the one that surprises me, Jamarcus. I'll tell you, for not working together, you were all over that.
I'm feeling you on the draw.
But, you know, Jamarcus Russell doesn't get a lot of credit for passing efficiency. He's in a pretty good group right there.
Here's 3rd and 2, and was there movement of the offensive line? And they should step in on this. Things out of control, and here comes another penalty flag. There was movement. I don't know if the defensive player originally was drawn offside, but that should have been stopped far short of that. That was ridiculous at the end.
Well, if your motor wasn't going before that play, you can promise that both sidelines will have them cranked up now.
Mid-American Conference officials here and up in the replay booth sorting this one out. You can see the defensive tackle bursting across 90, and at that point he should have stopped.
And you know the whistle's going. He should have stopped.
And that is David
Prior to the snap, dead ball, offsides. On the defense, had contact. Offense. That kind of defense. Going the wrong way.
Going to be one of those nights, folks.
Wow.
Defense, correction.
So let's check in down below with Lisa.
Well, Brent, obviously we've seen enough brawls in sports this season to last us, and you could tell right away that the players from both sides realized that they were headed down a very bad path after they started mixing it up a little bit. Then players from both sides, you could see them, started slapping each other on the butt, giving each other taps on the helmet, saying, hey, we don't want to go here. Let's play fair. Let's do it the right way. Right?
And that's how you stop that, Lisa, is to have a strong penalty enforced, a personal foul against Oregon, and that's the message that needs to be sent. Nice job by Nick Define by putting it out there.
You want me to say that name again?
No.
David Tata, number 90.
And this is marching against the Ducks defense too as a result. Now watch him as he knocked the ball free. Now he throws the quarterback back. And as a result, BYU is inside the 35-yard line. Play fake. Beck got a lot of time. Stands tall. Incomplete at the 20-yard line. And I thought that was catchable.
It may have been catchable, but I tell you, Walter Thurman, Brent, really competed for that football right here. We're going to get a look at it. Again, up, bump and run coverage. Comes back to the football. May have stripped that out of there a little bit.
He may have had pass interference too. He was hugging him tight. Reed was right there with him, but you're right, Brent. They got to catch the ball. Ball in the hand like that, you got to bring it in.
Second down and 10. Here again, they hand off to the wide receiver, Nate Mickle, and the defense jumps that play. It'll be third and long. That's Darius Sanders, fine defensive end from Los Angeles. He's a senior, 6'5", 270.
Again, this sets up another big third down. BYU number 2 in the country in third down conversions. 56% of the time they convert third down, which is an unbelievable percentage.
Harleen is out to the right. He's got one-on-one. Beck looking left, comes back middle. Goes to the running back for the first down. The fullback, Manasseh Tonga, comes through, and it's first down and goal inside. Don't make it. It's inside the 15-yard line. It's an 18-yard gain, so it will be first and 10 from the 14.
In the traditional BYU attack, man-to-man coverage, they get the fullback on the linebacker and man-to-man, and he just beat him back to the inside.
The end of the first quarter. And who would have thought that BYU and Oregon would be scoreless at the end of 15? The first touchdown, they finally got something going, Craig.
Well, they've got an offense now that I think is starting to feel a little bit better. You know, they're not going to drop as many balls as the game goes along. John Beck's going to find his guys. The receivers have to hold on to the football.
Yeah, and BYU now realizes that Oregon's playing a lot of man-to-man coverage. So look for crossing routes, getting that ball to the running backs out of the backfield, isolated on linebackers.
Brown carries on first and 10. You can see Mickle, number 9, bringing the play in from the sideline. Beck checks the wristband.
And this Brown kid is a heck of a receiver. Leads the team in receptions. One of the top backs out of the backfield in the country catching the football, as well as just a good runner too.
And the one thing they have to be careful of is not only is he a good receiver, but they've got to block and pick up numbers back there in the backfield. Brown is the only back there alongside the quarterback. Valioti comes after him. Stands tall, deflected. And Harline. So Harline, the intended target, number 13 that time, and that puts him in 3rd and 9.
And J.D. Nelson, the safety that time, an excellent break on the ball. J.D. Nelson, second team all Pac-10, really is the heart of this defense for Oregon.
And I think Beck expected Harleen to continue with the route because the corner on the other side of the field had left and it was open there, and he was trying to lead him on a continuation of his path.
Oregon with 6 defensive backs on the field, 3 down linemen.
Beck's getting away from pressure, trying to get the first down, short of the first down marker by a couple of yards. And let's see if the Cougars elect to put the first points up on the board.
Really an excellent changeup right there by Nick Aliotti. Been playing a lot of man-to-man coverage. That time Oregon went zone, and John Beck didn't know where to go with the football. That was why he had that hesitation.
You got 8 guys back in coverage there inside 20 yards to cover a field, and that's tough to throw the football against on 3rd and 9.
Backup quarterback Jason Beck is the holder here. This is Jared McLaughlin. No relation to the punter. Puts the first points on the board. Early in the second quarter, BYU with a 24-yard field goal leads the Oregon Ducks 3-0. Miami Dolphins smarting from that shutout loss at the hands of Buffalo a week ago. Here it's 3-0 with the Cougars leading the Ducks. Andre Crenshaw, number 23, is one of the deep men. Down to the 22-yard line is Jonathan Stewart. And our game track presented by the Diamond Trading Company. BYU with 2 quick sacks of Leaf, but the Cougars had 4 drop passes. And they finally marched down and kicked a field goal to lead it 3-0. So just what you said, Coach. Dennis Dixon here with the 4th series of the game has checked in as Oregon's quarterback.
Dennis Dixon, the fastest quarterback ever at Oregon, runs 4.49. The reason he's not starting, interceptions and turnovers late in the season.
13 of them to be exact, against 11 touchdown passes overall. Here he is slipping, and he's down and taking a loss of a couple of yards. So here are the stats for Dixon, who is a junior like Leaf. That's the first 6 games, and they were 5-1. But then they went 2-3 against the heart of the the Pac-10 schedule, with only 1 touchdown pass against 8 interceptions. So here's Dixon with something to prove.
And how about Gary Croton opening up with a play action, trying to get Dixon some confidence to throw the football. Falls down scrambling.
On 2nd and 12, coming with Stewart. And the Cougars swarm on him at this will be 3rd and long. Check it with Lisa.
Well, Brent, Dennis Dixon admits that he lost a lot of his confidence in those last 5 games in which he had just 1 touchdown against 8 interceptions. He said it was actually good for him to sit out that game against Oregon State. He got to watch, see what was going on, and he was fully expecting to get some playing time in this game tonight. Coach Bellotti had told both quarterbacks that they would play, and he is keeping to his word. Brent?
And here he is, Lisa, with a 3rd and 9. The Ducks spread the field for him. Middle is wide open. And he dives to the 32-yard line. And you can see just close to that yellow line, the spot a little bit short of it. So here comes the punting team.
But 3rd and 9 with Dixon in the backfield, Coach, they are going to have BYU's defense. You're going to see linebackers. They're going to spy, and they're going to know exactly where Dennis Dixon's going when he does not throw the football.
And I don't care how fast you are, it's hard to scramble on 3rd and 9. But Brent, we had Oregon against Cal early in the year. Oregon came in undefeated. Dennis Dixon has not been the same since that game.
fair catch signal at the 29-yard line. So coming up, we'll be hearing from Ryan Leaf, Brady's brother, who will be with us in the booth.
The best.
We are joined by Brady's older brother, and many of you I know remember Ryan Leaf. Ryan, it's nice to have you with us. Will you join us for a while and watch a little football?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
He has to. He's a coach, right?
Indeed, down at West Texas A&M. We got to talk about it. I hear he's unsalaried, but he told me there's some good news. We'll get that story in a minute. But first, here is John Beck, and back in the shotgun. Drove the Cougars down for a field goal their last time. And this will pick up about 5 yards, 2nd and 5. So tell me now, how are they going to give you a salary down there, Ryan? You were an unpaid quarterback coach for a while this fall.
It was very enjoyable and a great experience. We won a conference championship. I had a great quarterback, Dalton Bell, who's getting a lot of looks from the NFL and things like that. He just does a tremendous job for our football team. But, yeah, the AD really wanted to find a way to get me to stick around and coach. So he's made me the men's golf coach. So I get to play a lot of golf in the spring and coach football in the fall.
We've got some flaws up in this booth you can start working on the next break, I promise you.
There's a handoff down to Brown to the Cougars, and this will leave them in about 3rd down and 5. What were you thinking when you watched your brother down there this evening?
It's such a pride thing. I'm so proud of him and everything he's done, the person he's become, and he loves college football so much and loves being a part of the college atmosphere. And I just couldn't be more proud of him. My family and everybody's here, and it's just fun to see him out there, and it's seeing him walk around and have the same kind of mannerisms and things when I played. It's interesting.
You get more nervous watching him than when you play.
Oh God, yeah. I'm up on my feet screaming. It's a lot different when watching your little brother play than when you were.
Here's your 3rd down now for the Cougars, and John Beck. Middle, got his running back Brown. Craig James, you talked about what an excellent receiver he is.
He really puts a lot of pressure on a defense with the options that he can give you. And right now, Coach, the linebackers are the cardinal sin happening against them. They're letting the running backs and the receivers get inside them.
Well, Brent, that's the key. Craig, that's the key. You can put a lot of defensive backs out there, but you still have one linebacker matched up on that one running back. And for all intent and purposes, Curtis Brown is really a wide receiver in the backfield.
Here's Beck now with the 1st down for the Cougars, just short of the 50-yard line. 8:47 to go in the 2nd quarter. And inside the 35-yard line, the catch is made by McKay Jacobson, the true freshman from South Lake, Texas. And Ryan, young man from South Lake, Texas. Now you should have recruited him to West Texas A&M now.
Well, I'm just kind of I'm all new to the recruiting thing. Got out on the road for the first time last week down in Austin, is my area. And it was fun to meet all those high school coaches. And the best thing is dealing with these kids day in, day out. The college atmosphere. I loved it so much when I played, and it's just given me a great opportunity to get back into it.
Here's your 1st down now for Beck. Here's Brown. High steps his way across the 30-yard line. And, let's take you back, Ryan, to that Rose Bowl game against Michigan. You must have so many fond memories, even though you came up a little bit short.
Yeah, give us those 2 more seconds left, and we'll see what happens. But they were a tremendous football team. And
here without the huddle, here comes Harling. Johnny Harling out of bounds. And Ryan, what do you make about this Cougar attack and this wide open BYU team?
I like it. Anytime you get the ball in the air is something I really like. And they're doing a tremendous job of spreading the football around, getting to the outside. Little passes that break it down the rest of the field. But
and the other thing they're doing, is Oregon's wanting to substitute, get 5 and 6 defensive backs in there, and then they quick snap them before they can get a line. So a great game plan job right now by Robert Anai, who incidentally came from Texas Tech to BYU.
We run that Texas Tech offense, that air raid down at West Texas, and it's a fun offense to run.
Well, here are the Cougars now with a 1st down from the 11-yard line. Go to the running game. Tonga. Craig, you like Tonga, the power runner.
It's the fullback over here. You've got an offense right now that's got Curtis Brown lighting it up, both running the ball and catching the ball. It's opened up the entire offense, and because Tonga's such a good opposite guy, he doesn't just block, he can also run the football.
got a little bit of an injury down there on the field. Ryan, I know that there were bitter moments when you left the NFL. I'm wondering, have you forgotten the negativity of it? I listened to you talk about recruiting youngsters and dealing with them at the collegiate level. Tell me where you are mentally about your very brief career in the NFL.
Yeah, I'm just really happy where I'm at. I'm not going to allow a 5-6 year snippet of my life to dictate where I'm going to be and what I'm going to do the rest of it. And I'm in a real good place, and it's collegiate football at its finest, and it's at the Division II level. There's a playoff system. It's something that was real fun. We went to the second round of the playoffs. It was just a great experience for me. Our staff is amazing. A lot of young coaches really not getting paid that much, but just working their butt off, and it's fun to be around them.
Let me ask you this question, excuse me. How do you take your journey, and now you talk to your brother Brady, who's in competition, really has for several years with Dennis Dixon. He's told me it's a little bit frustrating. He's playing one series, out the next series. I mean, what do you talk to Brady about?
Like before the game, and he's just been through everything and seen everything. He's been to the draft. He's been, seen me grow up and stuff. But nothing really bothers him. So I don't think, the only thing I told him to do is just have fun tonight. Enjoy yourself. He enjoys playing the game. He enjoys the University of Oregon. He enjoys college life, and that's all I can ask for my little brother.
What we've heard the scouting report is that Brady is a really good game player right now, not necessarily a practice guy. Is that something that comes with maturity?
Probably. I loved practice. The competition. I just loved competition. So, he's a laid-back guy. Really enjoys everything, and he takes advantage of everything he's given, and he's really made the most of his life, and I'm real proud of him.
The thing that I noticed the most about you, now you're at West Texas A&M, and you got your cowboy hat here. I tell you, you can put the cowboy hat on. Texas.
I am from Montana, all right, and that's and a lot of.
We're glad to have
Johnny Cash was my hero, so.
There's no Willie Nelson on that shirt now.
Little country, a little bit rock and roll.
All right, guys, 2nd down and 5 here now. The Cougars with an excellent scoring opportunity. Beck lines him up in the power I. A bit of a delay. Touchdown. The game's first touchdown. Curtis Brown, the senior from Palmdale, California. That's his 6th rushing touchdown of the season to go along with his 3 touchdowns receiving. And BYU about to run up a 10-point lead on the Ducks of the Pac-10. McLaughlin. Jason Beck, the backup quarterback, puts it down, and there it is, a 10-point lead. Ryan, put on the cowboy hat, and thanks for dropping by, partner. Go on up there and see Coach Bobby Houck, and maybe we can get you over at Grizz stand.
Those Grizzlies did a good job this year. They did a heck of a job getting to the semifinals. It's always fun going home. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
Good luck and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Good luck.
10. Back in Las Vegas, the Pioneer Pure Vision Las Vegas Bowl, and the BYU Cougars up by 10 as they go 71 yards in 8 plays. The most impressive drive of the evening, 3.5 minutes. The Cougars with 172 total yards, and their defense is becoming the story. They have limited the Ducks to 45 yards. Jonathan Stewart looking for a seam. Shaking and baking. What a tremendous return to the 47-yard line. Sophomore Jonathan Stewart, one of the greatest high school running backs to come out of the state of Washington, 47 yards.
And Jonathan Stewart had 2 big, huge returns against Oregon State in their last regular season game in Corvallis.
Penalty flag also falling on the play.
Following the play, dead ball, personal foul on the kicking team, number 28. That's a 15-yard penalty. First down.
If it's on the kicking team, it goes the other way. Am I right or wrong here?
You are right, but I think he misspoke and meant the receiving team. As we look at Jonathan Stewart again.
Outstanding effort. Outstanding effort. And at the end of this play, Stewart obviously got up, and when he got up from the play, Yeah, that push right there.
And you know what? There's two things with this Oregon football team. Turnovers and penalties. They are the 113th most penalized team in all of college football. Hard to win when you turn it over and have a lot of penalties.
Was somebody pulling his leg? Is that why he did that?
I think he was initially, yeah. The BYU player was pulling on it a little bit.
But these officials recognize the intensity on the field. They've already had one where they've had to separate the players. They've got to be firm with these teams.
Brady Quinn back in, swings on first down, and run out of bounds at the 39-yard line. Jeremiah Johnson.
There are two explosive backs on this football team, Jeremiah Johnson and Jonathan Stewart. And Stewart was one of the best players to ever come out of high school. Highly, he was a player of the year.
I knew I was going to do it.
Yeah,
I would call him Brady Quinn before the night is over. And I did it. Second down and 3. Brady Leaf for the first down. Fires to Jordan Kent, son of Ernie. And what a job the Oregon basketball team.
But the point I was trying to make on those two explosive players, they've got to utilize them. They got to get the ball in their hands. Get it on the outside where you've got receivers that can catch the ball and do something like Kent.
Well, I think Oregon's got a bunch of players. I'm not sure they really have a plan right now. And particularly when you start alternating two different kind of quarterbacks like that, it's hard to get any kind of rhythm.
He threw behind the running back Johnson.
You know, Brady really has kind of a funny motion, doesn't he? He kind of throws that football for a big guy from down around his hip rather low. And I think it's hard to have, see right there?
And he
never set his feet in the direction he was throwing the football. It's hard to have a lot of consistency right there.
I just get the feeling that this is a football team that has Dennis Dixon as a quarterback. When they do that zone read inside option down the line of scrimmage with the two backs they have, they're more explosive than being a drop back, throw the ball down the field team.
Second down and 10. Leaf gets excellent protection. On the move, it dropped. At the 22-yard line, Brian Pasinger unable to hold on.
One thing you see with Brady Leaf, he doesn't set his feet when he throws. You know, the great guys that can scramble, he'll scramble right here, but watch him as he releases this football. He never sets his feet when he throws it. I mean, that's a hard way to get any velocity on the football. But you've seen Troy Smith, and I'm not comparing the two, but Troy Smith does a great job of setting his feet and throwing the football.
Here's 3rd and 10. Three Cougars try to rush, and they're held out. Leaf has to cut back. Sacked at the 41-yard line. A long pursuit. And Russell Tialabeve.
And again, BYU, Craig, just dropping 8 defenders into coverage. And you see Brady Leaf is not comfortable moving, finding that open window, and making a throw. Causes him to have way too much hesitation.
And when things broke down, no Oregon receivers came back to help him out. Nobody gave him an option. Everybody went deep like it was schoolyard ball.
Aaron Knowles. The 18-yard line. Ooh, Meckel stoned at the 26.
That'll reset your cowboy hat.
Matthew Harper closing in. Watching. Number 20.
I'll tell you what, though, a great job of protecting that football right there.
Look at his shin strap up over his nose.
But I'll tell you what, BYU with only 11 turnovers all season. Michigan leads the country with 10, but that's a reason they don't turn it over. Ball security right there.
Beck's turn again. Up 10. Field goal, touchdown, last 2 drives. Coming out opening up with his running back as a receiver. Got 7 or 8 yards, and time for our Aflac trivia question. All right, this season name the quarterbacks who threw for 30+ touchdown passes and 6 or fewer interceptions. Here's a hint. I've already given away one of the names. Second down and 3. You should have stepped on my toes, Coach. And Lavelle Edwards, he coached some pretty good quarterbacks in his time, didn't he?
Lavelle hasn't changed the expression yet since he was coaching on the sidelines. It was the same exact expression.
Second down and 3. Down here's Brown dancing.
Coach Edwards set the bar here pretty high, didn't he?
He sure did.
Yeah.
Well, when you talk about Bronco Mendenhall going back to the old BYU, took him up on top of a mountain, had every player talk about all the problems, all the things that went wrong, why they weren't winning before he got the job. Then he burned all those reasons, burnt the old helmet they were using, went back to their old traditional BYU helmet, going back to all those traditions that Lavelle started at BYU.
It's attitude. You've got to get the players to believe they're going to win and expect to win and to respect the past, and that's what he's done.
Here's 3rd and 2 for Beck. Throws for the first down. Jacobson, the freshman, making another grab. Beck is now 10 of 20.
This young man, Jacobson, comes from South Lake Carroll High School in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Todd Dodge, the coach down there, now going on to North Texas as their head coach, has won a number of state championships, and it's an offense that throws the ball, and Jacobson's supposed to be the big play threat even as a freshman here on this football team.
That's where the Missouri quarterback was.
He sure did. Yes, he did.
Chase Daniel played for Coach Dodge. First down and 10. Bounce by Brown. Oregon doesn't wrap up. Fine run to the Ducks' 41-yard line. And Coach Davey, you mentioned it at the top of the broadcast. Attitude, attitude, attitude. How would they feel about being in this game?
You're exactly right. As you see Curtis Brown break that ball outside, that Oregon really has a challenge now, Brent. Losing their last 3 regular season games, down 10-0. They had better get a defensive stop on this series, or it's going to snowball on them.
Takapuna, number 1, the sophomore, replaces him. He has a ton of enthusiasm. Play fake to him. Back, far sideline, got one-on-one, and it was broken up. Walter Thurman, number 6. And let's check in with Reese.
All right, Brent, coming up at halftime, we'll answer some burning questions from the BCS, tell you why the Longhorns are getting some really good news as they head into the Alamo Bowl, and also check in on Reggie Ball's situation. Who's to blame for the Yellow Jacket quarterback being ineligible? Lou Holtz and Mark May will join me at halftime. You come back in just a few minutes. Guys?
All right, Reese, we look forward to that update. Sorry to hear that Reggie won't be able to quarterback Georgia Tech. I know, a disappointing end to his career. 2nd down and 10 now. Brown, and this won't get you much. He uses as sort of a control running play, but in that situation, not going to get you much. And Bird, the corner, makes a stop.
You know, you talk about attitude in bowl games, Brent. You know, that Reggie Ball story. So many things can happen from your last regular season game until a bowl game. I mean, you can coach one team during the season. It could be a different team that you take to the bowl game. And that's one thing about that national championship game, Florida and Ohio State. A lot of dynamics going on off the field before you ever get to co-play in that game.
But at least you've got an experienced guy like Troy Smith who'll stay away from those troubles before the game.
3rd and 10. Got it man open. There's his tight end touchdown. Johnny Harling. There is a penalty flag. Hold on.
And I tell you what, that was a great move by Harling.
Roughing the passer on the defense, number 49. The touchdown is good. The penalty would be enforced on the kickoff.
So a 41-yard scoring strike. Beck to Harleen. And suddenly this is taking a grim look for the Ducks.
And a great job off the scramble by Beck and Harleen, reacting to the scramble and going down the field.
Jared McLaughlin tacks on the extra point. The Mountain West Conference looking pretty good here, folks. BYU trying to win its 10th straight game, looking strong right now.
Really all started up front. Oregon only rushed 3, dropped 8, and the protection was there, which allowed for the extra time downfield.
But also you see John Beck set his feet opposite of what Brady Leaf did off the scramble. And watch Harleen right here. Right there is when Beck scrambled. That is a well-coached, smart receiver to get downfield off what you call the scramble drill. That's hard to cover.
That's what he did to win the Utah game.
Very similar play, exactly.
Kept moving. He knew enough to move to the opposite side of the end zone. He was all alone for that classic game winner. All right, let's go back now to the Aflac trivia question. Name the quarterbacks who have thrown for 30-plus touchdowns and 6 or fewer interceptions now this season. And obviously, John Beck, as you probably predicted, is one of them.
And you gave away the other one, right, earlier?
Yes. Brady Quinn and Troy Smith. They're very impressive numbers. And Bob, did you tell me that a lot of people were talking about Smith now in the first round?
He has moved up in a lot of opinions to a first-round pick as a quarterback, and I couldn't agree more with that.
Dixon back in. Incomplete on 1st and 10. And now I got to ask you, Coach, what do you think when you start shuttling quarterbacks in?
Well, I don't like it. And something I really noticed right there with Dennis Dixon, not much confidence throwing that football. I mean, he threw that ball like a dart right there. Somebody trying to aim the ball, Craig.
And the coaching staff has said that the real weakness right now, Dixon's game, is the balls down the middle of the field and that things are short. He's throwing the ball behind. He just has no confidence in his game right now. And you know, in terms of the decision to put him in, Dixon,
still second down.
Right now, Mike Bellotti's got to find somebody who can go out on the football field and make a play offensively.
I know what he's thinking right there. Don't lose the last 4 games of the season, because that is an off season of discontent right there if you're Mike Bellotti.
On 2nd and 10. Dixon dancing. He will take off and step out of bounds at the first down marker here with 1:20 to go. What's important, I would think, for the Ducks mentally, would you guys agree, is for, with 1:20 to go, try to get something on the board here in the final seconds to build off of in the second half. I suppose easier said than done here.
And you can still manage the game. It's not like he's got to throw the ball down there. Don't go crazy on him. Just manage it and work your way down there. Stewart and Jeremiah Johnson, if they get in the hands in the open field, they can make a big play.
Well, you're a running back, aren't you?
Give him the ball. Let him
about
go.
Those running backs.
Curtis Brown, they gave Curtis Brown the ball. Look what happened to BYU.
Go running backs.
First down and 10. Short, incomplete.
You can see BYU's plan. Just sit back, play a lot of off-zone coverage, make these quarterbacks throw completions. Because right now, I don't know if anybody was out there if Dennis Dixon can complete a pass, to be quite honest, the way he's throwing the ball right now.
Would you, Brent, would you have thought 64 total yards for Oregon's offense with the speed they have out there in talent?
I know they're 8th in the country in total offense.
Absolutely.
It's not like they can't move the ball now.
I would have thought we would have been closing in on 30 total points in the first half. 2nd down and 10. Second down and 10. Dancing away is Dixon. Close to the first down. And Tonga.
Another thing, Dennis better tuck that football away when he scrambles, because he keeps that thing hanging out there. They're going to strip it out of there.
Tonga's the brother of the fullback.
But you really felt, I know you guys did, if Oregon didn't turn the ball over, they would score a lot of points. They haven't turned the ball over. They just have nothing going right now offensively.
Well, you know, switching for a moment over to college basketball, there's a milestone we're approaching here, folks. You recognize some of those great moments and not so great moments in the background, I guess, but he did win the long chair throwing contest. That will live forever. And here is Coach Bobby Knight closing in on the brink of history, becoming the all-time winningest coach in history. There you see the game coming up against Bucknell. That would tie Dean Smith. And in the second half, special treat, we're going to bring the Shark out. Jerry Tarkanian still lives here in Las Vegas. And there was a very memorable night down in New Orleans between Coach Knight in Indiana and the Shark and a great Las Vegas team. We're going to talk about that. We'll see what Jerry has to say about Coach Knight closing in on that record. It's always great to hear from Tarkanian as Bobby Knight approaches basketball history. 3rd down and 1. The sneak, and Dixon didn't get anything. He didn't get anything. It is 4th down now with 54 seconds. Now what do you do here, Bob?
I punt it. Don't give it back to BYU right now because they'll score again. I would punt this football right here because you have nothing going on offense. It's not like you've had any consistency at all. And all of a sudden, you're not going to get consistency. Punt the ball.
And I think you would go back on 3rd and short, and you would not have gone 4 wide to the right side because it looked like a quarterback sneaked all the way, and BYU was there for it.
Well, how about your guys, Jonathan Stewart,
Jeremiah Johnson? Give them the ball, man.
Sure.
Those are explosive football players who are unbelievably talented and can run like all get out. And this is just a team that when you're searching for something, be safe, conservative, put it in the ball carrier's hands.
The most frustrated guy in this whole stadium, though, is Gary Croton. Gary Croton, the offensive coordinator for Oregon, who obviously we well documented was the head coach at BYU. Think of what he's going through, the dynamics of that situation. This is the team you're playing against that you recruited. You hired these coaches because all the same coaches are there at BYU, and they're shutting you out right now in the first half.
Croton's got to deal with a whole lot of different things now. This is a game that's kind of putting to bed his BYU career and days, but he's also got a quarterback controversy that could spill over into the offseason that he doesn't want to have happen. So he's trying to figure out, how can I win this game with Brady Leaf out there but keep Dennis Dixon happy? It's a lot on a coach's plate.
No question. And if he had his choice, he would not be playing against BYU tonight. I promise you. That is a tough situation to be in.
Let's see now if the Cougars load up and come after Aaron Knowles. Mickle is back deep. They did. They were close. Fair catch at the 26-yard line with 30 seconds left here in the first half. The Cougars have been red hot in the second quarter.
Speaking of red hot,
I got an early Christmas present for you. My wife was down on the strip and she said, I want a doll of the sexiest guy alive. They brought out this Brent Musburger doll right here. This action figure from the Rocky. Now, give us a background of how this all started. You were in on the premiere, right?
Well, this Rocky 2. And I got a call in Los Angeles one night and said, Sylvester Stallone's having trouble getting from scene A to scene C. Can you come and work up scene B? And I said, yeah, I'll come over. So he was the director, sat me on a stool. He said, here, now do a sportscast. So I said, well, where's the script? He said, we don't have a script, make it up. Yeah. So if you look at Rocky 2, Burgess Meredith kicks me in the TV set when I'm trying to urge him to come back to fight again, Rocky Balboa. I can't wait to see Rocky 6. Everybody says it's a terrific job.
The premiere was just the other night, right? Yeah, Rocky Balboa?
Yeah, I've got a couple of days here for the family comes back. I'm going to run over and see it because I hear he really,
have you seen this yet, though?
No, I have not.
Okay, consider this an early Christmas present from Craig.
You look good. Yeah. I'm telling you, you look great.
I'm telling you, what'd she pay for this? Huh?
They were giving them away, but I don't want to hurt your feelings.
You're a fourth quarter guy there.
You got some tight pants on, man.
It's Vegas, baby.
Vegas leather pants. I didn't know you wore those things.
We just want to walk through the casino with you tonight.
Yeah, right.
That's right. Where's the hat?
Yeah, you got that. That's in the back. Right.
Is
Where's that? Yeah. Hey, Ryan Leaf might have stole that thing. Thank you for that.
I'll tell you, we're having a lot more fun in Oregon's having right now. I promise you that.
That's a good point. Complete.
How about his own action doll? That's big time.
But you know what? If you're going to have somebody make a doll of you, you want to look good in it, right? You know, cut up.
What are you trying to say? He did look good.
He looked good. He looked great.
Yeah.
He looked great in it.
I want to find out what the residuals are. I got to make a phone call here at halftime. Where's my brother?
It's a great stocking stuffer.
Your brother's your agent, right? Yeah, I see.
Keep it in the family, you know, Bob. You should have your wife be your agent. Okay, good. Second down and 10. At the 39-yard line, pulled in with 19 seconds. Now remember, let us go back to that Utah game. In less than a minute, Beck brought them down the field for the winning touchdown very efficiently with 3 seconds left in a play that took about 13 to unfold. He threw the game winner. Coming in underneath. Here's Harline again. Midfield clock will stop right now. They've got 9 seconds left.
Ground the ball, save your timeout, and go to the huddle. Ground it.
He does just that. So 7 seconds. They'll try to go pick off as many yards as they can here on this play and see if they get close enough for a field goal. If they can get lucky, try to get into the end zone on a pitch and run. But it was amazing watching the end of that game. Wasn't it, Bob, against Utah? I mean,
really
both teams went up and down the field.
Unbelievable comeback by Utah.
And then it was BYU after that.
BYU turned around and scored the last series of the game.
There's deflected, and now we're down to the magic 3.
We're down to the Doug play. We're down to the Doug play now.
That's it, man.
But what an impressive first half by BYU. After really a sluggish start, particularly on offense, BYU's defense has played outstanding from the first snap of the game.
Well, BYU's offense, the first quarter, 0 points first time this season, right?
Exactly. So 17 points in the second quarter.
Bob, they have held Oregon to 73 total yards here.
And that's
Leaf was 4 of 8. Dixon was 0 of 2. Here he comes. Beck throwing it deep end zone. Is there a flag? It's intercepted at the 1-yard line. Harline was bumped down there, but there's no flag. Bird picks it off at the 1-yard line. And that'll bring the first half to an end. This is a predominantly BYU crowd here tonight. They've got most of the tickets in what we think is going to be a record-setting crowd tonight, and they are very happy as the Cougars trot off. Meanwhile, Brady Leaf and the Ducks are struggling, and let's check in with Lisa.
Thanks, Brent. Coach, your offense struggling tonight. What are you seeing out there that's not going well?
Our quarterbacks aren't making plays right now, and it's unfortunate we played 2 quarterbacks. We have a chance here. We kept it close enough. Our defense got a little bit tired. They've been on the field too long, but we need to pick it up offensively, no question.
So what do you do now? You told me before the game both quarterbacks would play, and whoever was playing the best, you would let them go. What do you do now? They're both not really finding a rhythm.
Well, that one of them's got to step up. I think that they will. We've got to look at what we're play calling wise, but overall, they'll be ready to play second half.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Brent.
All right, Lisa, thank you very much. And now Reese is in the studio with the gang, Coach Lou Holtz and Mark May. Tis the season to be jolly, unless you're an Oregon Duck. It's 17-0. The BYU Cougars throwing a shutout at the men in green, and no Reese Davis. They did not throw the new helmet away. They decided to wear them here in the second half. And Craig James and Bob Davie, can they climb back in this baby?
One play at a time, right? That's how you eat an elephant, one bite at a time. And I think this is an offense right now that is looking for a leader, somebody to come out and make a play. And I think it's going to start in the backfield. They've got Stewart and Jeremiah Johnson. They need to get those guys involved.
Yeah, and Oregon's an offense that's capable of moving the ball. They're 8th in the country, 436 yards a game. They need to decide on the quarterback. I personally would go back to Dennis Dixon. Run my true spread offense, because that's what I committed to. That's what I am. And get the ball in the hands of those tailbacks. And play this game like it's nothing. Right. Don't play like it's 17-0 and panic, even though that's human nature.
Well, we'll find out what the brain trust has got in mind. Remember, the Cougars won the toss and elected to receive. So Oregon will have the ball for the first possession. The temperature in the desert now dropping a little bit. Sun having set, 43 degrees, and we get ready. The Ducks with only 73 total yards in the first half. Fielded, and the three by, here is Stewart. And Stewart, who carried only twice for no yards in that first half. We check in on game track. The BYU defense was certainly the best of the four units if you want to compare the two offenses and the two defenses. And Curtis Brown, along with John Beck, leading the way offensively. And that's your game track presented by the Diamond Trading Company. Not a bad place where you guys were waiting for that late shopping idea, right? Head on down.
I've got my shopping idea for stockings now. I'm going with your statue that they gave you.
First down and 10 at the 19-yard line. And they elect to open up with Leaf as the quarterback. So, Bob, they're not going to go back to Dixon. They're going to go with number 16, Brady Leaf, who started the game. He's a junior from Great Falls, Montana. And in that first half, he was 4 of 8 for only 27 yards. Dixon was 0 of 2 for 0 yards passing. Second down and 10. High and behind the intended target. And that's the first time I can remember Dante Rosario being thrown the football. There's your Ducks first half possessions. And you can see just how much trouble they had, guys, moving the football.
Only one series where they had 6 snaps. And this is just, you can see the timing's off there. Rosario is a good tight end. Leaf didn't step up and let him have the ball. There's a lot of hope every time they'd make a play out there.
Going to have to be looking for a big gain here on third down. Let's get the ball to the 29, or they're going to have to punt it. Flips it out to Jeremiah Johnson. Johnson, first down for the Ducks. Big third down effort.
I'll tell you what, you can see how much Oregon is searching to try to find something to happen. And Craig James is high-fiving everybody in the press box because they finally got the ball to a running back.
Hey, he didn't throw the football 20 yards. He just a little flicker there. Get it to the guy with some feet.
That's not a flicker. That's a flutie. And Brady is taken down. No one was more creative than number 22 at Boston College, and then I'm assuming that up in Canada he did the same thing, the little flip.
Doug tells us he used to go out in the snow in the huddle and disregard the play called in the huddle, and he'd draw it up in the snow and go with it.
Second down and 9. Johnson, number 24, still back there alongside Leaf. Good protection. Can't find a receiver open. Now he's in deep trouble. Smacked down at the 19-yard line. The Cougars close in with Paugo and Jorgensen.
What a great job again by the BYU secondary. But you really get the feeling right now, what is Oregon on offense? You know, we saw them early in the year. They're a spread offense, run the option on 1st and 10, keep people off bounds. They are not a drop-back passing team, as again, BYU just rushes 3, and they have no answer for that. But they're not what they were early in the season scheme-wise on offense.
Leaf doesn't have the feet to scramble either. He's a slow-footed quarterback. He has to stay within the tackle box.
Been sacked 4 times here tonight. 3rd and forever. And 3 and out to open the second. After that one first down by Jeremiah, then it goes 3 and out. Jorgensen applying the heat there. Big number 84.
You know, and you talk about the identity of an offense sometimes, and we were, you know, Bob, we're having a soda at halftime talking to John Robinson, former coach. And you guys are talking about different things out there. Sometimes you have so many weapons that you don't use your players.
Well, you think of Oregon early in the season, they threw probably 10 wide receiver screens, the quick screens a game. We haven't seen a wide receiver screen tonight.
7th punt of the evening. Mickle back inside the 30 is smacked. There he is again, Harper, number 20. He has been a terror on special teams here tonight. The Cougars are dominating, and they have ever since the second quarter of this football game. Steve, presented by Plasma displays. Sellout crowd at Sam Boyd Stadium. Many of them BYU Cougar fans. There are a lot of Mormons who live in this area, and of course the border of Utah, not too far. Just up the road, St. George. A lot of their fans have driven on down here for this game. Former coaching legend Lavelle Edwards in the stands. Good fans. We don't see any empty seats yet. First down and 10. Oh, what a wonderful grab by Johnny Harleen. Perfectly thrown ball by John Beck. Fading it on 1st and 10. Right into his arms for 29 yards.
Coach, this is just a no pro set. This is a tight end that's out here, but he might as well be right there. But the Harleen is so flexed and good at that, he gets the one-on-one.
And he has one-on-one with Chung. And just a great catch right there. Excuse me. Yeah, that is Chung one-on-one, the safety and coverage right there. But what a great display of hand-eye coordination by the big tight end.
Beck is now 16 of 30 for 233 yards, coming back with the running play with Brown. And keep in mind that this Oregon defense was giving up only 156 yards per game, passing yards per game, and Beck already has hit him with 233, and it's 2nd down and 6. You go back to last year's Las Vegas Bowl. Californian Marshawn Lynch came in here, and they shot it out with the Cougars. And here tonight, Oregon is playing like a UCLA team when they lost in a Vegas Bowl against Wyoming. 2nd down, high and incomplete, and there's the penalty flag. That is going to be on Patrick Chung. He was holding Johnny Harleen.
And I think Chung's just he's frustrated after the catch Harleen had on him a while ago.
Pass interference on the defense, number 15. That's a spot foul. Automatic first down.
First thing, the quarterback, John Beck, took a big lick by Blair Phillips.
Ooh, man, that may be mutual right there, Coach. I mean, Harleen came off and smoked him in the chin.
Wasn't it? Well, right there is the big hit.
Coach Bellotti could read his lips. He thought the ball was uncatchable. Harleen reaching up with the one hand on the play. First down. Beck under pressure. Fires to the running back, Brown. He's out of bounds at the 20-yard line. A lethal passing attack orchestrated here by Bronco Mendenhall and the Cougar coaching staff.
Robert Anai, the offensive coordinator, came from Texas Tech's staff and Mike Leach's system, but he said he made a decided change to go back to kind of the old BYU days, didn't he, Coach? And he talked about it's more downhill and all. And this really looks like pro set split backs with a tight end out there.
Exactly, and they don't throw all those screens that Texas Tech throws. But incidentally, Robert Anai's son has committed to BYU. It came down to Texas Tech or BYU in recruiting.
Tonka, the fullback, is the ball carrier, and Brent Haverly making the stop.
And it's interesting because when Gary Croton was the head coach at BYU just 3 years ago, before Bronco Mendenhall took over, they were a spread offensive team, which was different for BYU. They are truly back to BYU's traditional offense right now.
BYU's offense knows who they are and what they're trying to accomplish, as opposed to the Oregon Ducks right now.
Exactly.
Chung shaken up, and so Harper, who's been a terror on special teams, now on the field in that secondary. Here's your 3rd and 2, and here's your power eye. They fake from it. Receiver covered. Beck reaches for the first down. Will he get it? It'll depend on the spot. Short. Blair Phillips makes a stop. Mendenhall with a decision to make here on 4th down. He's up 17.
I think you go for it right here. I don't think that 3 points makes much difference, but if you make the first down right here and score, it breaks Oregon's back.
If the Ducks can come up with a stop, it will give them a rare lift in this game. They jumped the point of attack, and it looked like the Cougars moved the pile easily. The middle of that offensive line. Sete Alai, Travis Bright, And Ray Fega, the sophomore left guard.
Well, when it's 4th down and short, you talk about big guys up front. Look at the average weight of the heaviest offensive lines in college football. New Mexico State, I don't know what they're out there feeding those fellas, but look at BYU at 318.
Just flare it to the side, and nothing much doing in that play. Michael Reed, the sophomore. Thurman, the corner, reading it. And now it will be 2nd down and long. Mickle checks in. Incidentally, we do have one piece of bad news regarding personnel for BYU. You'll not see their fine freshman McKay Jacobson here in the second half. The report from the sideline: fractured clavicle. So number 80 is out. Mickle, number 9, we will see a lot. 3 receivers out wide. Beck under pressure, steps away. There's a penalty flag. Holding's going to be called, I believe. Throw across the grain, incomplete. But judging from when that flag was thrown, yes, it's holding.
And I think they're going to get the center, number 67, holding Darius Sanders, 95.
You know, this would be BYU's first penalty of the night if they take this.
Holding. Offense, number 67. That's a 10-yard penalty in the previous spot. Replay, 2nd down.
That's amazing.
You talk about McKay Jacobson, the freshman receiver who's out for the game. He's leaving for a Mormon mission in Japan right after this game, which is amazing. You think about 61 of these players on this BYU team, as we look at McKay right there. 61 of these players have served 2-year Mormon missions.
33 of the players are married. Several of them have 3 children. Out of bounds, incomplete. That was Reed working the sideline. You know, Bob, you and I have talked, and Craig, I know that you have been in the arena against BYU, and linemen, college football linemen who go down and square off against a lot of these youngsters from the Lavelle Edwards era who'd been on that mission. They'd look across, they'd think they were playing guys for the NFL.
Big guys, very much older.
Yeah.
Different mindsets. You know, some of them are going for job interviews during the week, and he has to give them time off. 12 different languages they speak in that locker room.
Right.
Yeah, John Beck, the quarterback's 25 years old.
Here comes the blitz now. 3rd and 19. Beck fires, intercepted at the 11-yard line. Aliota's defense comes up with its biggest play of the night. Out to the 46. Patrick Chung shaken up, returns. The blitz pays off, and maybe that will give the Ducks the boost. A little pushing and shoving now. Quickly, the assistants are out on the field. The blitz was rolling on Beck.
Blair Phillips, 33, the linebacker, a leader on this Ducks defense, came and put the pressure on John Beck, and he's going to start. You see him coming up the middle.
And also J.D. Nelson, the safety, coming on the blitz. But right now, I mean, Oregon was on life support. They were on life support. Let's see if right now this is their shot to make something happen.
What are you saying, up top right here?
I'd go up, make something happen.
It's up to Brady Leaf. They stack 2 receivers to the left. They need a quarterback to step up here. There's the first completion coming out. Not many yards, but at least he put it in the hands of Cameron Colvin, a young man who out of De La Salle. He was a part of that legendary 151-game winning streak by De La Salle. But I must say that Colvin, he was one of the most hyped receivers to come out of all of California that one year. Hasn't quite lived up to all of that build-up that he received. But let's see. He's coming on now. 2nd down and 5. And here's Stewart bouncing to the outside. He just can't shake it loose tonight, can he? I mean, that defense, Brian Keel over there gets him out of bounds, and Stewart just can't get his rhythm, can he?
Brent, all of a sudden, and I know how this happens, and it sounds a lot easier up here in the press box than it does when you're coaching, but all of a sudden they jump in I formation. They haven't been in I all night, and they run the ISO. It's hard to get any continuity or figure out what the defense is going to be in because you've never been in I formation. So they're just kind of grab bagging right now.
Well, they better grab 4 yards right here. 3rd and 4. Got a man, and he should have had it. Ball is dropped by Colvin. That should have been a first down, Oregon. Might as well go for it, huh?
I think so.
Yeah, I think you go for it here. And another drop. Brady Leaf, nice job with his feet that time. Now, that's a hard ball to catch. It's got traffic of linebackers coming through there. But Colvin, he had the hands on the ball. Has to come up with a play.
5 drop passes were counted now by the Oregon Ducks here tonight. Here's your 4th and 4.
And Jason Williams, number 4, at 6'5", 240, right up here, at some point has to be a factor in this game.
Leaf rolling hard to the right, throws, intercepted. He threw to coverage on the near side. Justin Robinson picks it for the Cougars.
You can't telegraph a pass more than Brady Leaf did on this one here. Watch to the outside. Look how deliberate he is, Coach.
And again, I don't think throwing on the run is a strength for Brady Leaf.
Poof goes the chain. Intercept the ball for the Cougars. You get a little room service. Hit those toes up for Mr. Robinson down there, please. Polish him up there. First down and 10 for Beck and the Cougars. And a penalty flag. And Bob and Craig, we can start talking a little hoops, I think, here, man. That was an opportunity for Oregon. I know soon we're going to have Jerry Tarkanian joining us up here in the booth.
Dead ball, full start on the offense, number 65. It's a 5-yard penalty remains, first down.
17-0. 17 total points in a game that a whole lot of folks thought was going to reach into the 60s here tonight. And young Leaf, Dixon, and the Ducks are being shut out. They have 81 total yards of offense. Beck stands tall. Harleen again. Crosses the 35-yard line.
Again, Oregon man-to-man coverage, and they turn loose. Heartline, J.D. Nelson, 28, trying to lock up Leighton man-to-man coverage.
So Johnny Harleen has a career high now. 174 yards on 8 catches. And remember, they had difficulties. You see an injured Duck. They had difficulty getting the ball to him in the opening quarter. So we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to hear from the man who put UNLV basketball on the map. The Shark is with us, and he doesn't have his towel tonight. What's with this? To the booth with us, and Jerry, you tell how many times did you face off against Coach Knight?
That's the only time we ever played. Bobby and I have been good friends for years, but that's the only time we played.
I found that amazing. I thought for sure that you'd faced each other. That was such a great game. I know you remember the night. You never forget a great game.
Well, that game, the thing that stands out in my mind is we were down 2 with 32 seconds to go, and my kid Patio hits the shot. The ball's halfway down the net, and it pops out. And we could have gone up 1 instead. They got the rebound, and they made another bucket, and that was it.
Let's watch this 2nd and 6 here now. Beck is back in the gun. BYU with the ball. 5.5 to go in the 3rd quarter. Incomplete, and that'll bring up 3rd down. Jerry, what a lot of folks don't know about you, you're a big-time college football fan.
Oh, I love college football. I don't think there's anything better than a great college football game because of the atmosphere, the pageantry, the atmosphere. I became a big-time Notre Dame fan when Bob Davie was there.
Now, you and your buddies seek a new venue every year to go off on a road trip. This year, you were down at Texas A&M, right?
Texas A&M, Oklahoma. What a great game. Then I've been to Notre Dame probably 4 or 5 times. We've been to Oklahoma, Texas.
3rd and 6 here. Beck fires for the first down, and he has got it close to the 20-yard line. Jerry, so what's your impression tonight of BYU and Oregon?
This is a classic example of one school really wanting to play. BYU has a great crowd. They got the hunger, the passion. Oregon, I don't think even wants to play in the game. And, you know, it's a shame because Oregon, I'm sure, is every bit as good as BYU. But on a night like this.
Of all the places you've been around college football, looking at it from a different perspective, what's the #1 spot as far as just atmosphere at a college football site?
I never seen anything like the Texas A&M crowd. Never.
Exactly.
And I love Notre Dame.
Night we played Oklahoma, Texas A&M.
And they're on their feet.
Here he comes, dancing is Brown, still on his feet. And he crosses the 5-yard line, giving you an indication of just what Coach Tarkanian said. The desire of the Cougars, who came in here with a 9-game winning streak, and look at their veteran running back, keeping their crowd very much in the thick of it. They have most of the tickets here. Record-breaking crowd at Sam Boyd Stadium. They were beaten by California here in the Vegas Bowl a year ago, and tonight they've got a 1st and goal. So let's see now, guys, if they can finish this off. Craig, what's your impression of this drive?
I said it earlier in the game. Get Curtis Brown involved from BYU's offense, receiving and running, but you can see them taking control emotionally in the game right now.
Using the fullback. There's a penalty flag on the side. Tonga, the ball carrier that time. Jerry, there's just nothing like the action of sports, is there? I know. I see you around town. You go to you watch the Rebel game, and
I love sports, but you know, anytime two teams play, the passion and emotion plays a big part in the game, and you can see that
tonight. Half a distance to the penalty, half a distance to the goal. Remains 1st down.
You know what? Coaching's coaching. How have you seen it change, though, through the years, regardless of the sport?
The thing that I don't like is everybody, all these major schools play Johnny Junior High in November and December. College basketball will be starting this week. Now you'll start seeing some games, but everybody's 9-2 or 9-1.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Here's your 1st and goal now after the penalty. Nothing doing. It'll be 2nd down and goal. And you know, Jerry, as we take a look at Bobby Knight, and it's just hard for me to believe that he is closing in on the all-time record. Coming up against Bucknell on ESPN2, 4:30 Eastern. That could tie Dean Smith. Then UNLV will be down there next week. And if things go well in Lubbock against Bucknell, as we expect, he could break the record against the runner-ups. You'd never let him do that.
Well, I would like to see that. I'm looking forward to that. I'll tell you, Lon Kruger's done a great job at UNLV, and that'll be a great ball game.
Here comes Brown now for the touchdown. Jerry, can you stick around?
Sure.
Yeah, that's great. Come on through this commercial now. BYU just 1 point away from making it a 24-0 game. And Coach Bellotti and the Ducks a little shell-shocked right now, Bob Davey. Would you agree with that?
Completely. And you know what's going through his mind, trying to solve these problems and thinking about heading into that offseason and recruiting with 4 straight losses.
Yeah, remember, this was a team that was expected to compete for the Pac-10 title this year. And then things turned sour for him. McLaughlin adds the extra point. Brown has rushed for 2 touchdowns tonight. And it is all BYU. Back with the Shark and more on Bobby Knight in a moment. Special coming up late on Christmas Day for you. BYU shutting out Oregon in the Pioneer Pure Vision Vegas Bowl. Returnable from the 9-yard line, Stewart. And ball is loose. Ducks have it. And a reminder that you can help decide the Pontiac game-changing performance of the year. There's Iowa now with that great goal line stand against Syracuse. Clemson for that botched field goal return for a touchdown versus Wake. Auburn blocking a punt against Florida, the only loss for the Gators. Oregon State, that failed 2-point conversion. So determine which school will win the $100,000 General Scholarship Fund contribution, courtesy of Pontiac. So go to ESPN.com and start from there. 1st down and 10. Going to the running game, and Dixon now in as the Ducks quarterback. And so, Jerry, Bobby Knight, did you ever think that anybody would be around long enough to break the all-time victory record of Dean Smith?
Well, Bobby's got great longevity. He really does. He looks good. He looks like he can go 3 or 4 more years. But Mike Krzyzewski will be closing in on him.
So you think Krzyzewski might take it away from him?
Well, it's only going to take Mike about 4 more 5 years to catch him if he can last that long.
Second down. Dixon trying to reach out a little bit short of it. You can see with the head linesman marking it. So there are the milestones. What made Knight so successful, Jerry? What in your opinion?
Well, he's a great coach, but you know, people don't realize what an intelligent person he is. He is just basically a very, very intelligent man, and he does a great job at teaching, and he's been real good for the game. I like Bobby because he's really honest. What he is, what you see is what he is.
Let me ask you this. If you went to a coaching clinic and Bobby Knight was speaking at a coaching clinic, what would he talk about? I mean, what is his baby? Is it defense, man-to-man? Is it his motion offense? I mean, what is his signature thing?
Well, I'd want to hear him on his motion offense. I think his motion offense is what really pushes Bobby aside. That's the toughest thing to defend. I don't think anybody's defended it real well. You know, a lot of people talk about his defense, but to me, I've always said Bobby's greatest strength is his offense.
Has he changed that offense, or has it been the same exact offense if you look back 10 years?
Well, it's been about the middle of his career in Indiana. He switched to the motion offense, and I'm sure he's refined it some, but it's basically the same thing.
I think, you know, the thing is that I'm the most appreciative of as a fan and respect him so much is his consistency. He's been the same guy, it seems like, from day one.
There's not a phony bone in his body. That's what I like about him. He's just exactly what you see.
3rd down and inches coming up here for the Ducks. Dixon, a good runner, remember. Penalty flag. The linesman has it there on the side.
Well, there is nothing coming easy for Oregon tonight. I think they're going to get a false start penalty here on Oregon.
Jerry, do you miss the arena? Do you miss coaching?
I don't miss coaching one bit. I loved it when I did it.
Offsides, false start.
I wouldn't trade it for anything, but I don't miss it.
The 5-yard penalty remains 3rd down.
Well, let me tell you something that all the coaches I've worked through the years, and I know, Brent, you'll say the same. This soft money up in this booth here, this is easy. We never lose.
Hey, quiet down.
All I know.
Keep that.
Well, we work very hard.
I like the way you guys live.
Pinstripe suits, nice vests. These guys look wonderful tonight. Nice meals.
3rd down and 6. Inside handoff. Burst for the 1st down. And a powerful run by Jonathan Stewart. That's his best run of the night, Bob.
And I mean, Jonathan Stewart, 235 pounds, runs a 4.34, benches 405 pounds. Wouldn't you love to see him in a single back or an I formation in the true tailback position and run downhill?
That or start this game over with this offense on the field right now with Dennis Dixon running this formation. This is the best formation when I've watched him on film throughout the year. Their most consistency.
Now, this is Oregon's offense right here. As they call timeout with confusion.
Yeah, what the heck? We're up top here. We can't be wrong.
Let's check in with John Buccigrass in Bristol. John.
Thank you, Brent. 30 at 30 Sports Center update. Carmelo Anthony says he won't appeal his 15-game suspension, saying, quote, he doesn't want to be a further distraction. Meanwhile, Mario Bogan scored a career-high 30 points, had a crucial putback in double overtime as Oklahoma State beats Pittsburgh tonight. Full highlights on Sports Center after the football game with John Anderson and Steve Levy. Back to you, Brent.
All right, John, thank you. And Jerry, what's your feeling when NBA players get out of control like they did the other night in the fight in the Garden?
Well, you know, I really like that Stern has taken the strong stance. because I think he has to get the message out, and I think he is getting the message out. I don't think you're going to see a lot of that anymore.
You know, I don't remember, correct me if I'm wrong, any of your teams ever getting in a bad brawl.
We had one fight, and ESPN played it for a week. I mean, it sounded like we were fighting.
Why did you go there?
You know what I mean? It sounded like we were fighting all year. It's the only fight we had in 19 years.
First down.
You realize how long he's been wanting to get that off his chest.
I'm glad I gave you a chance. I can tell you guys something else.
You had Larry Johnson, bud.
Yeah,
we show that one loss in '87. Let me tell you something. When he won it at 90 with that team, that was as good a championship team as we have ever seen. And one other thing about this man here, if you went to his practice, of course, I've always thought he was keeping him off the strip at night, but it was one of the toughest practice sessions I ever saw. It'll be incomplete. Jerry, you worked hard in practice on defense, my friend.
You know, we always felt that nobody practiced harder than we did, and we always felt we were a great defensive team. I know the media never figured it out because we were scoring a lot of points, but that was because of our defense.
So it was a legal catch. So here's your third down now. Final minute of the third quarter. Dixon dancing. And out of bounds on the near side at the 45-yard line. Could be just short. That was Jordan Kent, and that's the son of Ernie Kent, the basketball coach up there at Oregon, and doing pretty good. Looks like Jordan might wind up being a football player rather than a basketball player, Jerry.
And Ernie's got a good team this year, good basketball team.
How about Matt Doherty down at SMU? You think he's got a chance to turn it around and have a good program?
That's a great city. It's a great university and a great city. I've always said that they should be good. They really should.
Yeah, I'm pulling for Matt. I hope he does it.
Well, they'll bring the so we've talked about him. Let's meet Jordan Kent.
My name is Jordan Kent, senior wide receiver, Eugene, Oregon. The three sports I lettered in were football, basketball, and track and field. But when I have free time, I definitely like playing video games. I'm not gonna lie, it's a big hobby of mine. I've always been a big fan of Usher. Really liked him since middle school. And, definitely got all his songs in my iPod. Favorite food, pancakes, hands down. Most I've ever eaten was, I think, 37.
Wow, that's a lot now, folks. And, let me tell you about his high school track career. He won 3 state 400-meter titles, 2 200-meter titles, and a long jump championship. So we are talking about some major league speed. But what's your feeling as you look at him about prospects in the NFL as a receiver?
Well, the thing that jumps out is just what you said. He's a big guy. He ran a 10-4 100 meters. And the pros are excited about just his size and speed.
Dixon going to keep it for the first down. He's across the 40-yard line. We check in down below with Lisa.
Well, Brent, you were talking about wide receiver number 2, Jordan Kent. Like you said, a very good basketball player. He had been tight-lipped all week long, all season long, about whether or not he was going to play this season for the Ducks. As you said, his father, Ernie Kent, is the head coach of the men's basketball team. He told me yesterday, Jordan told me yesterday at the kickoff luncheon that he will not play basketball this season. He wants to concentrate on a possible NFL career. And Brent, the most interesting part about that, this is just his second season of organized football.
Yeah, that's amazing. And Lisa, as we watch that, Jason Williams, who I don't believe has caught a pass yet tonight, juggled this one and came very close to making a circus catch against Justin Robinson, but it was all for naught.
And again, when we talked to Gary Croton about Dennis Dixon's interceptions, most of those interceptions come on underthrown deep balls. And that was another time right there where we really didn't get that football out there enough and give Jason Williams a chance to catch that thing.
Here's Stewart. And that front of the Cougars have kept him under control here tonight. He's rushed for 7 times for 21 yards. Cameron Jensen.
Hey, Coach, have you ever seen a doll of Brent Musburger looking like Rocky Balboa? Look at the guy. Is he buff or what?
Oh, he looks great. That's Brent.
So is my man, the Shark. Jerry, as we come to the end here, of the third quarter. I want to thank you very much for dropping by. It's always a pleasure to see you.
It's great to be with you guys.
All right, Coach.
Good to see you.
Merry Christmas to you.
Same to you.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, Coach.
Thank you.
It's all BYU. The Pioneer Vision Vegas Bowl. And the Cougars are 15 minutes away from a bowl victory, their first since the mid-90s.
Bye, Coach.
Making the announcement, some big-time juniors deciding to come back for their senior year at Michigan, led by Chad Henne.
This is 3rd down and 9, the 10th play coming, the most plays of any Oregon drive tonight. High intercepted. At the 17-yard line, it was into the arms of Justin Robinson.
One thing that Dixon did do was he stepped up in the pocket and he delivered the football with velocity. He was not timid about this delivery at all. He just was high.
And that ball may have been tipped right there by James Finley, or came off his hands right there. But you're right, he stepped up and threw that football now with some velocity. But again, the turnovers this season for Oregon.
That's his 14th interception of the season. The second pick of the night by Justin Robinson, the senior from Tulsa, Oklahoma. He'll get another foot warming party over there on the sideline. And Beck drops it off to Brown. There's a first down at the 31-yard line.
How about that Rose Bowl? So Michigan's got all these players coming back. Mike Hart will be the key guy, though. Hart needs to come back to really help Chad.
Here's my question to you as an AP voter now. Florida beat out the Wolverines in the AP vote. I mean, that plays no role in the BCS, but they did beat them by 3 points. Now, let's say that Michigan's very impressive and wins the Rose Bowl. Florida finds a way to upset Ohio State. Would you consider, as an AP voter, voting Michigan #1 in the final AP poll?
I think the thing that hurts there, Brent, Michigan's chances is USC's lost to UCLA. If USC had stayed where they were and been impressive, and it's a good football team, but they were beaten by UCLA, and that's in my mind as a voter. Florida did what they had to do, and if they beat the best team in the country, I'm going to keep my vote. I'll put Florida at #1.
That's fair. It is one of the storylines.
It is a storyline, no question about it. It's something to follow because Florida and Michigan are very close, and all four of those teams are going to go out there and play well. USC's a heck of a team, so if Michigan romps them, it is a valid question.
Second down and short for Beck now. Tonga has been impressive. To follow up on that story, let's show you the Associated Press. And again, remember now, this plays no part in the BCS rankings. They went their own way a couple of years ago. They can crown their own champion. A few years back, they certainly did that with USC when LSU won the BCS. There are your points. A 3-point difference between Florida and Michigan for the 2 spot in the AP rankings. So that will be interesting. The other thing to keep in mind in this game between Michigan and USC, and I have read several of the experts have made the observation, Bob, that the winner of the Rose Bowl could wind up being the preseason #1 next year.
Yeah.
Either Michigan or USC. And just what you said, so many of those Wolverine players, guys, are coming back.
Oh, and you talk about 2 hungry football teams playing in that Rose Bowl, because both USC and Michigan lost to their arch rivals in the final game of the season. Do not want to lose the last 2 games of the year.
Next year is going to be very interesting because we have a lot of really young quarterbacks around the country in big positions with young running backs at school. So we're going to see a lot of teams knocking each other off next year.
Here's 1st and 15 for Beck, handing off to Brown. And Brown breaks away, looks for daylight. Down the far sideline and inside the 20-yard line, Patrick Chung. So Curtis Brown approaching the record, 47 yards.
He needs 110 to become the all-time rushing leader at BYU.
There's 110,
That's
it
it.
says.
And I'll tell you what, he better give a little bit of it to Travis Bright, 74, that right guard, because that was a great block on a trap block. to get him started.
BYU dominates, and Oregon so far hasn't shown up. That's your storyline. First down and 10. And there's Vakapuna. He's the sophomore. He figures to be number 1, I would guess, next year. 1,000 yards this season. First time in school history that a running back has had 2 consecutive years with 1,000+ rushing yards out of Palmdale, California. NFL prospect, as you might imagine. Not only is he a great running back, but he came in their leading receiver, Craig.
How about this formation BYU's pulling out right now?
Empty set.
4 to one side and only 1 up at the top.
And deflected. Third down, we check in with Lisa.
Brent, Curtis Brown was not highly recruited out of Paraclete High School in Palmdale, California, in Southern California. He said that his parents sent out about 70 to 80 highlight tapes, and BYU was one of the very few schools that showed any interest. He said that they are the ones who asked him to come to Provo for a recruiting trip. It was the one and only recruiting trip he took. He said it was the best decision he ever made. He was a little apprehensive because he was not a Mormon before he enrolled, but has since become a Mormon. And of course, a big part of this offense, he says what he's most proud of this season, he has never fumbled once. Brent?
Very good story. Beck going to run for it. Dives for the end zone. Touchdown. With his wife watching from the sidelines, John Beck takes it to the end zone. She's standing next to Brown's father.
And anytime you play man-to-man coverage and all the receivers run off the DBs, there's nobody left, and he extends that ball across the plane of that goal line.
And the ball looked like it was across the goal line with the knee hit, so it had crossed that plane.
This is becoming an old-fashioned butt kicker.
Wow. Woodshedder.
Yes, indeed.
You let the air out earlier a while ago when they had the interception. You went poof.
Woo-wee. Champions of the Mountain West closing in on their 10th consecutive win, leading 31-0 with 11:29 to go. What does this say about the Pac-10 in the upcoming bowl game? If anything, let's take you through the BYU season. What a job being done by Bronco Mendenhall and that staff. First conference championship since 2001. And remember, when you go back to September, they lost those 2 games, but only by a total of 10 points. Since then, they've been on a tear. John Beck, 24 touchdowns and 4 picks, a 9-game winning streak, a great comeback against arch rival Utah in Salt Lake, and about to win their first bowl game since the '97 Cotton Bowl. So a wonderful performance by Bronco Mendenhall, who, as you recall, was hardly the first choice to become their next head coach, but he has made the most of his opportunity. And this has been a very well-coached football team here tonight. 3 penalties for 20 yards. Dixon dances for the Ducks out of bounds as he crosses midfield.
You know, sticking with Coach Mendenhall and visiting with him, he has adapted to the players in his locker room. Bob, you talked about how he went to the top of the mountain. They burned the helmets. They burned all the ugly past to get fresh memories in their heads. But he also went and he changed his defense. He had more linebackers than he had guys in the secondary. So he got rid of the 3-3-5 that he was so good with and known for, and he went to the 3-4 defense to match what he had on his team.
And also the old BYU teams, Lavelle Edwards, they were 3-4 defenses as well. So not only offensively but defensively, they're back to what BYU has had a tradition of.
Going deep, end zone. Touchdown, Oregon. Brian Paysinger, he and Jordan Kent were running stride by stride. It's a 48-yard strike.
Height advantage, go for the ball, Paysinger. stays with it, stays focused, and comes down with the ball.
Now, who was the intended target, ladies and gentlemen?
If you talk to the quarterback, Dennis Dixon, it was Paysinger.
Oh, yeah, all the way,
no
right?
question. But, you know, it's good to see just Dennis Dixon unleash the football and throw a deep ball.
Well, his legs on the scramble before the pass play puts more pressure on a defense. It allows him to make some plays with his arms down the field.
Now, here's the two-point conversion try. They run for it. They put it in the arms of Jeremiah Johnson. 31-8. 10:27 to go.
Onside kick. Here we come.
Bellotti, son of the coach, getting ready, which means exactly what Bob Davie predicted. Little onside kick time coming up here with 10:27 to go, and the Ducks trailing. And here comes the young man. The Cougars are ready. They push 9, close to the 45. So here comes. The Cougars shift with him. You can see that. The left foot is high and snatched out of the air. The Ducks battling for it down below.
I think a Ducks wing to that one.
And there's an injured Cougar down on the field.
It's Andrew George who went up and initially had his hands on that football, number 88.
And then he was buried.
He was clocked.
Did they signal who recovered the football?
Yes. You saw, and I think that most special teams coaches now tell the guy, if you recover the football on an onside kick, you make sure you get up and go get it to the official right away, right?
So Nate Mickle out there, one of the good hands people, he winds up with the football in that scrum.
I think
you can see that ball.
Yeah.
Rosario, you can see the ball was loose.
Let me ask you this, though. Did he have possession of that football, and did, in fact, the ground cause that fumble? Should it even have been a fumble? It looked like he had possession, and the ground caused that ball to come out.
Well, I think Rosario was so upset after the deal because he had it and lost it during the scrum.
It was a great kick by Bellotti.
Ball's on the ground there, you can see.
Rosario has the ball. He had it.
There's no question.
My question is, though, he caught that football and the ground caused that ball to come out.
Did he have possession?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't.
Looked to me like he had possession.
You know, somewhere in the state of Oklahoma, somebody is saying payback time. Remember this moment? Sooners will never forget it. Might have wound up being in the battle for a national championship right now. They awarded the ball to the Ducks, even though clearly the Sooner player walked away from the football rather nonchalantly.
That's what I'm saying. Get the ball and go to the official with excitement and do, you know, I've got the ball.
So anyway, here come the Cougars right now. John Beck, after the scrum, they get it back. 10:20 to go. 31-8. They lead it. Using Tonga, spinning, battling. And a penalty flag comes down. A referee tossed one of the late going, and there's a holding call against BYU. BYU has not been sacked. Beck has not been sacked here tonight. And Cougars do not agree with this call. I will say it was a late flag because I saw it come down.
Number 76 on the offense at the 10-yard penalty. Previous spot. Replay. First down.
Vega.
Brent, you talk about BYU not being sacked. I talked to Nick Aliota the defensive coordinator of Oregon. They charted 175 passes. The last 175 passes, 2.36 seconds. Beck gets that football out. Normally it's well over 3.0. So, I mean, they knew going in, Beck gets rid of that ball extremely quick.
Here's your 1st and 20. Strike down the middle. Got a first down. To the 25-yard line is Matt Allen.
You know, you're talking about that internal clock. We used to have coaches at practice every 7-on-7 drill. They had a deal, and it was 3.0 or less. Watch right here, Beck. He knows the clock, the time's up. Get rid of the football. Finds Allen, who has had a couple of drops earlier in this football game.
And I tell you, you have to love the arm strength of John Beck. A lot of people told me you won't be that impressed when you see him throw the ball in person because he doesn't have an extremely strong arm. I disagree.
Pretty good there.
And he has a nice quick release.
Another completion. Dropping it off to the fullback. Tonga.
He'll check it down too, won't he?
Yes, he will. Well, here's the storyline presented by Kay Jewelers. There are your John Beck stats. Johnny Harline, career high here tonight. The Oregon offense has been shut down for the most part, coming off a scoring drive. 2nd down and 2 off the play fake. Going to throw high for it. Got it again. Touchdown! Manasseh Tonga, the sophomore from San Mateo, California. How about that for responding?
How about that for touch?
And how about when you try to play man-to-man coverage and that fullback sneaks out of that backfield on that linebacker? That was a great designed play as well.
And it's just like the bootleg coming back to the other side there, and if the linebacker goes back and covers him, quarterback runs. Really nice execution. Great throw by Beck.
Jared McLaughlin. Well, this is what we expected now. Both teams going up and down the field. But for Oregon, is it a case of too little, too late? Only 9:14 remaining. They trail it 38-8. Down. 38-8.
San Mateo, California. Represent, baby.
The way to celebrate the holidays. Here is John Beck. Pretty good numbers. Kickoff will be fielded at the 12-yard line. And again, it's Jonathan Stewart. And here's today's game track presented by the Diamond Trading Company. A Las Vegas Bowl record, 358 passing yards by John Beck. Curtis Brown passes 1,000 yards again for Brigham Young. The BYU defense, 2 interceptions, and they've allowed only 184 total yards.
And Beck would have more yards except for a few drops in the first quarter.
True. Dixon still in. Checks down to the underneath receiver to the 41-yard line using Jonathan Stewart.
You talk about the kind of night John Beck has had. It still amazes me. 2-year Mormon mission in Portugal. John Beck told me he threw the football a total of 10 times in 2 years. And he wasn't allowed to lift weights. So he get up at 5:30 in the morning and did sit-ups and push-ups for 2 years. Amazing.
25 years old. 2nd down and 1. Pressure closing in, but Dixon still made a first down out of it. That was Jorgensen.
This football team really caught my eye back in the season when they were playing TCU in Fort Worth. Mountain West, big opponent against them. TCU shut down BYU's running game, and John Beck and company went to work and got after them. And I think that game there really made me a believer that this was a football team that beat a good TCU team on the road and they started believing in themselves.
Yeah, that's an impressive win going into Fort Worth.
Got another first down here, eh? Rosario, who has been very, very quiet.
A lot of the Duck offense has been quiet tonight.
Yep.
Rosario, a guy that was a fullback in the old Oregon offense when they were two backs. When they went to the spread, they made him a tight end.
He was a fullback in high school. Pretty good sized guy, huh?
Here's Johnson. Maybe run out of bounds on that far side. Picked up a couple yards. Well, Saturday, ESPN has 2 more bowl games. Coverage will kick off for the bowl breakdown special at 4 Eastern. Then at 4:30 Eastern, the New Mexico Aggies take on San Jose State. Man, what a turnout for the Spartans. Make the team's first bowl game since 1990. Then at 8 Eastern, 2 high-powered offenses take the field. Tulsa will meet the Utah Utes, and BYU had to rally. And let me correct something. Made another turnover here, boys. The Lobos will not be the Aggies. That'll be the New Mexico Lobos.
Coach Long.
In Albuquerque. Coach Long, absolutely. I should have known better. And there's James Finley with the catch, 7:23.
Well, there will be some decisions to be made over in Tuscaloosa. Alabama's still looking for a football coach.
They asked me on ESPN News before the game. They must have had some scoop. They're talking Nick Saban. That's the whole reason Alabama's waiting to talk to Nick Saban.
Well, that, and I've also heard John Gruden mention, too. There are 2 schools of thoughts on that. One is they don't have anybody, and the other one is they should have had somebody before they got rid of Mike Shula.
Well, they thought they had somebody.
And Rich Rodriguez. Yeah, you know what? And he, I think Rich Rodriguez would have been an awesome coach for Alabama. And what does Alabama need? Alabama needs to have an offense that can go in there and deal with the SEC.
Let me tell you something.
Let me ask you a question. What does Alabama offer that the National Football League doesn't right now? I'm struck by this Saban.
Unless you just love the lifestyle.
Throwing for the end zone.
Oh, my.
Incomplete. Jason Williams.
You see one of the problems here, not much room in the end zones here at Sam Boyd Stadium. Good to see Jason Williams get up off the ground.
Boy, that's a tough shot to the rail, but it's a breakaway.
And the ball really should have been caught. Difficult catch, but we've seen Jason Williams, who has 68 catches on the year. I don't know if he has a catch tonight, though, but came in their leading receiver with 68.
Had a crack at that. You know that?
He really did.
Back to your question, though, but what does it offer? I think that a coach in the NFL has made a lot of money. He's been to the NFL. A guy like Saban has been back to – he may want to go back to college. John Gruden might be fed up with it.
Well, they might be fed up with Gruden.
Well, that's a good – that's
second down at 10. Fumbled. Incomplete. I'm sure it's incomplete.
But, you know, I think the first thing Alabama needs is somebody that's going to – you can talk about style of offense. You can talk about style of defense. I agree. Rich Rodriguez has been a great hire. But they need somebody that's been in that arena, in that kind of environment before. Arena? I'm talking about the environment that only a place like Alabama can bring, that's going to tell them this is how it's going to be. I love your fan support. I love the boosters. I love everybody. But I'm the boss. I'm in charge, and I'm going to run this program.
It's the University of Alabama, though. And Alabama has a tradition and history, and they've got some kids down there. They can go recruit, but they've got to have somebody who can go tell the story.
I've had a lot of people tell me that that's not nearly as good a job as we in the media think it is.
Yeah, but for $4 million a year, that's a pretty good job. That changes the dynamics.
If Coach Fran runs from it to go back to Texas A&M, I'm wondering about that. Wide open.
Late.
Wow. Had it. Justin Robinson was looking for pick number 3 there, guys.
Call me a wacky media guy then, because I think that Alabama is a good job. Because it has the tradition, and they're competing with Auburn down there for kids, but Alabama has to get a consistent program together. I thought they should have given Mike Shula another year. That's my opinion. I think he had a good year last year. He had some kids coming on, had some disappointments this season. You know, the grass isn't always greener in the pasture.
4th down here for Dixon and the Ducks. And we get word that the Green Bay Packers are 20 seconds away from a low-scoring 9-7 victory over Minnesota.
A lot of folks wondering if Brett Favre, if that was his last game at Lambeau.
Absolutely. I'm sure the guys at SportsCenter. He's waving to the crowd right now in Lambeau, we are told. And only a handful of folks been able to watch the NFL Network. But so you're going to see highlights of it on SportsCenter coming up right after us. So they'll have the full details. They'll tell you whether or not it was Brett Favre's last game, if he makes an announcement after the game. You know, there was a lot of speculation about it. So John Anderson and Steve Levy will have that story at SportsCenter here. We've got 5:53 to go, and then
On the offense,
the guys in Bristol will take over here.
that's a 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Beck says the umpire was standing over the football, told him you couldn't go.
Exactly. That's exactly what he was telling him. How could you do it? First down and 5th. That's pretty funny. And up to inside. And you know, this is a very smooth looking offense, isn't it, guys? We come away very impressed with BYU.
You know that offense right there, that little draw trap they run. You saw the offensive guard 74 pull. They've been running that draw trap at BYU forever. And that is a tough play to defend out against a passing team. You know, the draw with the trap action.
Try to take some seconds off the clock. 5:18. You know, this BYU team, when you think back in history, some of the great moments of the mid-'80s, they win the national championship. And then, how about this Holiday Bowl? Who are these guys from SMU in 1980? Jim McMahon and the Cougs shooting it out with the old Pony Express, the Mustangs. This was one of the classic Holiday Bowls of all time.
We were winning 45-25 with 3 minutes to go in the game.
Who's we?
SMU.
Is there any offensive clips? How can we bring a guy in the booth? A celebrity running back and not showing offensive clips when you're playing safety? Or?
Man.
There's tacking on another one.
Come on, Cadillac.
For the record of Harley. Okay.
Hold on.
Here we go now. Let me take it back.
There we go.
All right. Let's watch our guy here.
It's a fake punt, huh?
Take it in there, Craig. Get in there.
You know what? I had some people accuse me on this one right here. When I scored here, I had some people accuse me of scoring too quick. If I hadn't scored so quick, they couldn't come back.
I always get a kick out of that. Oh, they scored too early. They scored too fast. No.
That's back when you used to be able to cut those jerseys off and show those abs I saw you showing right there. Yeah.
Oh, that was a heck of a game, though, Craig. Do you still remember everything?
I remember that. I remember it so well, and I'm really glad that I had a chance to be a part of the game, and I feel connected to BYU fans forever and ever. I mean, they all talk about it everywhere we go. We played the Rams one time. Dickerson's on the other side. We're playing out there. We connect on a Hail Mary, and I run across the field to Eric, and we won the game. And I said, hey, Dick, we got you.
Are we ever going to bring any defensive guys in the booth? We get Kirk Herbstreit and Craig. Where's Spielman? We got to get Spielman up here, Brent.
He's too physical.
It's all
He's
offense.
physical now, I'm telling you. I've been next to Spielman.
We just need a little defensive flavor in this booth every once in a while.
Second down and 3. Let's see. I think it's the first sack of the night. It is. It is, Nick Reed. Yep, first sack of the night. And but you know, defense, you like a little toughness, and then look at this little ripped jersey there, and you know.
Hey, you remember too the old tearaway jersey?
Yes.
When you used to take, you know, a running back like Craig James, you take 15 jerseys in because the old tearaways.
You were a defensive coordinator against us.
That's back in the days of the big budget like you guys had at SMU, where you could buy whatever you wanted to buy.
You know what? It has been said there was a large budget there.
Exceeded the salary cap a few times down there.
Still ponies, baby. But I know what Eric and I, we
just kidding, Eric.
Just kidding. They'd tear the jersey off. We'd come off the field, and there was a rotation going on. And I think after about our junior year or thereabouts, they stopped that tearaway jersey deal. My kids, like, Dad, you are old, man. Back with tearaways.
Oh, you remember those SEC schools with the tearaways? I can still.
Flapping jerseys going down the field in the back.
Absolutely. First down and 10 now. And here's next year's running back.
But I tell you, you think about how good it is right now for Bronco Mendenhall and BYU, but how about Mike Bellotti? Losing the last 3 games of the season. They were a 4-0 football team early in the season. Lost to Cal was their first loss. And now they end the season losing 4 straight games.
That's tough. And you got a little bit of a quarterback question.
You really
about
do.
This team.
And an offensive scheme question.
I agree.
You know, so a lot of decisions to be made right there.
And let's go back to the start of the season. I mean, they were being touted as one of the favorites in the Pac-10.
And you can see why. They're a talented football team.
Here's Brown, speaking of talent.
And I think you can answer your question of what kind of team you're going to be offensively when you look at the backfield. With Jeremiah Johnson and Jonathan Stewart, that doesn't lend itself to drop back, throw the ball down the field.
And if they're going to stay in the spread, it has to be Dennis Dixon, because you have to have the element of option, in my opinion. So what's that mean for Brady Leaf if they stay in the spread offense?
And these bowl games have so much of an impact on what they write about next June, July, and August prior to the start of the season. The carryover effect from this just lingers.
The lack of respect for the Pac-10. You know, you start talking about next year. You know, look what happened with the Mountain West against Oregon.
Absolutely. Swinging it out now to Vakapuna. Vakapuna was, I want to tell you an interesting story about him, guys. Number one, he was an MVP. There's a penalty flag over here, by the way. Number one, Vakapuna was the MVP of a high school rugby team.
He's looking for a rugby match right now.
Yeah.
No, he's a tough guy. And as you mentioned early, he plays with great enthusiasm.
Oh, yeah, he
You
does.
watch him play. I mean, he jumps up off that ground. And he got back just before the spring from a 2-year mission. And they said, you know, his body broke down a little bit this season. He's had some injuries because, once again, there's no conditioning program for 2 years. So this guy next year is going to be a powerful back in that backfield.
He's the oldest of 8 children. So he learned to play rugby getting to the dinner table, clearly. And just trying to see if you were still awake, Craig. You know what I'm saying?
I like that.
Have you ever...
After the play, personal foul number 15 on the defense.
Chung.
After the play, personal foul number 1 on the offense.
Vakapuna.
Those penalties offset. 4th down.
Bob, have you ever, you and Craig, have you ever seen big time? Have you ever watched big time rugby? The black shirts in New Zealand and the guys from South Africa play.
Yeah.
I honestly have always wondered why some high school or college coaches have not gone and seen if they can get a couple fullbacks out of that game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's some tough,
Great athletes,
hard-running guys.
And they've all got a busted-up nose.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
ISO block would be no problem.
And Woody Hayes would have loved a couple of those.
I get to wear a helmet.
That's a good line now.
You guys are soft.
You got to come out more often. I like that. We got to let John Saunders and Flutie lock you up that long. Derek McLaughlin into punt this ball as we bring down the last minute and a half. And remember, again, I want to stress that SportsCenter is coming up here quickly. John and Steve, and they'll have the full story of the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings. Packers with a very low-scoring win in that game. If they punt this ball eventually, it'll be the Cougars' first punt since the opening quarter of the game, George Hill, our stats man, tells us. Also thanks to Brian Movelson, Mr. EA Sports himself, for the fine job of spotting. He didn't pronounce any of the names, but he certainly pointed at them for me. Chung is going to let this one bounce. And we're 1:19 away as the BYU Cougars will win their first game tonight in the bowl season since '97. And here's today's player of the game, presented by Capital One, a Las Vegas Bowl record for passing yards tonight in his last game with BYU. 25-year-old John Beck, who, if you weren't with us at the top of the broadcast, he and his wife expecting their first child. And he's to be a son, and they're going to name him after his hero. His idol growing up was Ty Detmer. So we expect a Ty Beck coming along here in a few years to be another promising quarterback. Dixon drops it off, got a first down. And the clock will stop momentarily. And here's a look at some of the things that John Beck did tonight. Record-breaking night for Harleen, his talented tight end. He ran for a touchdown.
He never got frustrated early in the game when his receivers were dropping passes. He stayed the course, managed the game, and did pretty much what he's done all season long.
You know, Craig and Bob, maybe the best quarterbacking year, Dixon going long now, and he overthrows Jordan. I think the best quarterbacking performance I saw in the closing minutes of any game was what Beck did against Utah in that game. That was
about 75 yards with 1:16 left. The game winner on 4th and 12, I think it was.
Right, exactly.
It was a 12-yard touchdown.
With 3 seconds on the clock
Utah
when that play
rushed
began.
2 guys, and the play took 12 seconds. And he hit Harleen in the end zone for the touchdown. But yeah, that was an unbelievable drive to win that game.
2nd down and 10. Dixon making the catch for the Oregon Ducks. So Sports Center, and they're the highlights. And also the Pistons, Cavaliers, and the Garden Party. Don't forget there was a good college matchup, Duke and Gonzaga. The Zags losing to Georgia, and Duke, we'll have to see how good they're going to be. And of course the Vikes and the Packers. Was this Brett Favre's last game in Green Bay? I'm sure the guys will have some sound coming out of Lambeau, and
he's about he's like 10 touchdown passes away from breaking Dan Marino's all-time touchdowns.
Yeah. So
if he didn't walk away
one regular
last year,
season game left on the road.
I don't think he'll leave.
You think he'll come back again?
Yeah,
huh?
I mean, he played better this year statistically. If he still got the body for it.
Well,
I don't know.
We'll wait and see here.
He's played long enough that
I certainly don't know.
The music has changed in the locker room, and you know,
excellent though.
You know, you have to really enjoy the game.
I'll tell you one thing. I know we can get a pretty good deal on some yellow helmets. Because I think Oregon, they're going to have a big old flea market after this game and get rid of those yellow helmets. I don't think you'll see those again.
And it's like a taxi cab pant.
Kind of a softball looking uniform, isn't it? Like a softball game?
It's anything but a Las Vegas Bowl uniform.
3rd down. And the final ticks are as BYU breaks its bowl drought. The first win since the 90s. Let's see if they can get a handle on the Gatorade there. And Coach Mendenhall has to feel so good. A 10-game winning streak to close out the season. A Mountain West championship.
I think a guy that has embraced the traditions of BYU, and BYU football is back.
Yeah, and congratulations to Curtis Brown and the players over there. Hard-fought season, outstanding year.
Clock stops. Jeremiah Johnson, the ball carrier. And meanwhile, it is back to the drawing boards for Oregon and Coach Bellotti.
And Oregon opens with Houston, then they play at Michigan, and they have Fresno State out of the conference next year. So they've got to solve a lot of problems.
But at least they have problems to solve with good athletes. Right. This is a football team that's not depleted of that. They just got to get the system going again, because early, like you said, Brent, early on in the year, this was a talented, good football team.
2nd down and 4, 19 seconds, 38-8. 46 points. Hit on the release, complete for a first down. So that will give us at least one more play. And young Jordan Kent in his final game. And they should have had the quarterback throw it. I mean, you know, when you miss with the Gatorade, now that's embarrassing. That's the first thing they've missed tonight, though. I can't say that. He's coaching right final 8 seconds, isn't he?
That backup coverage.
He's afraid that they might have a 31-point play here.
And then a Bellotti onside kick.
Dixon This one's over. Here come the Cougar fans,
Here they
folks.
come. They have taken over Las Vegas.
Merry Christmas to you two guys, and thanks for having me with you.
Great to have you here, Craig, and Merry Christmas to you and the family.
Thank you, guys.
Coach Davey, Merry Christmas to you. I'll see you, of course, in Pasadena in a few days. We get ready for the Granddaddy, Michigan and USC. Congratulations to Beck and the rest of the Cougars. Once again, BYU beats up on Oregon 38-8. And we'll see you January 1st now. Remember, 4:30 Eastern time or 1:30 out in the Pacific for the Rose Bowl game presented by Citi. So this has been a presentation.